Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show Podcast. How are yous, folks? Yes, another week has rolled around in the bagpiping world, and you guessed it, it's time for another Big Rab Show pod. Now, you might have guessed by the title of this week's episode, we've got quite an exciting announcement for you on this week's topic of the week. Yes, the lineup of next year's Kids with Cancer Charity Night. Oh, and it's a good one. Yeah, I recorded this a couple of days ago, and I cannot wait to press publish on this right now. But first of all, I have to get through recording the actual show. Right, let's get into your introductions then. Good and proper. Before we even get anywhere near this week's topic of the week. Yeah, if this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, then you are welcome. We are the show for the bagpiping folk, reflecting everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here talking about what we know and love to be the music of the great Highland bagpipe and its people. And yes, like every other podcast out there, we do have a Patreon where you can go to your show notes right now, no matter where you're listening. You can find the link for Patreon, it's all in there, and you can click on support and get your mitts on loads of extras. Now, I have to say, for anyone who hasn't yet clicked on support on Patreon, then you're missing a trick. There's a lot of extras. However, for those of you that may well be free members on Patreon, because you can do that, you can actually join for free. There are like different tiers. There's a free tier and a paid tier. If you do want to join our free tier, there has never been a better time, because throughout the month of November, yes, all of our Big Rab shows that are broadcast live on Fuse that are normally available for paid subscribers are now going to be available for our free tier for a full month. Woo! Yeah, so you're going to get access to that for nothing. So go on, head over there to Patreon and check out our Fuse FM Ballymoney radio shows this week. Starting next week, of course, 6th of November, I think will be the first one uploaded. So you can go and check that out. There you go. So just a little Brucey bonus, I guess. For anyone who wants to click on that support button, you can go and check out what you can get. And all of those episodes will be free next month. There you go. Shout out to our Patreon faithful. You guys are awesome. There you are. Alrighty, so go and check that out. Plug the Patreon, all that good stuff. Let's get into some listener mail then, shall we? Okay, our listener mail, the email address has never changed. bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. You can always drop us in a message about anything we talk about here on the show. Any questions, queries, or even, suggested topics of the week. We'd always love to hear from you. So, drop us in a note. Right. One such person has already done that. So this was one from Louise saying, "Hi Big Rab, really enjoyed last week's show on the Maquette Collective." Yes. And that was last week's pod where we heard all about this amazing initiative by the National Piping Centre. If you haven't heard it yet, go back and have a listen. It's very, very interesting. And look, Louise is just emailing us about it. So let's get into the rest of her email. I said, "I checked the website and found a wealth of information that I wasn't aware of initially. Thank you so much for drawing my attention to this amazing project. I will be keeping a keen eye on this in future." There you are. Thank you, Louise. There you go. So, thanks for emailing that in. We have received a number of other emails on the Maquette collection. We did respond to a number of questions that were raised about it. Asking how to get involved and things like that. So, again, for all of the information on last week's podcast, it is available on the National Piping Centre's website. All right, they do have a full dedicated page all to do with the Maquette Collective, and you can go and read out everything that's there, including how to possibly get involved for future endorsements or all of that kind of stuff. So, it's very, very interesting. There's a lot to get into there. But that was all in last week's pod. So thank you to everyone who reached out after last week's show. A good number of you really seemed to enjoy that. We also received a few weekly drones as well. We'll get into those as well in future episodes. But a very interesting episode last week, I thought. And I believe there's some things that Rab got wrong as well. So we'll get into that as well, I'm sure, in future episodes as well. Anyway, so if you do want to contact us about any previous episodes like Louise just did, or any future ones for that matter, you can email us in bigrabshow@gmail.com. We always do love to hear from you. All right. Now, well, yes, it's been a while since we have had a look at this. Yeah, we do have a weekly drone. JD, we have a weekly drone this week. So, go on, let us have it. What have we got for this week's weekly drone?
It's the weekly drone.
Prize giving finale at major competitions. Dear Big Rab, I am writing on a subject that really irritates most players, followers, and spectators. It is, of course, the lengthy and tedious prize-giving finale at the major competitions. The prize-giving finale at major competitions should be changed to a format more fit for purpose than the current system. I can imagine, back in the day, it must have been great to see all the bands marching onto the field for the grand finale. However, back in the day, there just simply wasn't the same number of bands competing at these events. In the current format, it must look awful to spectators when they see bands leaving the field in dribs and drabs as soon as their grade is announced. At the Worlds this year, I heard a band playing in the distance when the results were still being announced. Presumably, they were celebrating their own prize from a lower grade. I found it extremely disrespectful that they were playing prior to all results being announced. As soon as bands are placed in their holding position on the field at the finale, the players understandably dismiss, stand out of rank, some light up cigarettes, and despite the RSPBA warnings regarding alcohol not to be consumed on the field, it still happens. The prize giving should be streamlined. Here is a proposal for a trial format that should speed things up whilst still retaining the original spirit of the event. This proposal is a collection of ideas that I've heard from various players over the years. It may have even been talked about before on your show, so apologies if I'm repeating an already aired idea. So, how about 1. All bands compete as usual in the various competition arenas. 2. For each grade, after the conclusion of that grade and at a predetermined time and location, the RSPBA lists the bands who will be appearing later on the prize list in that grade, i.e. 6 bands or 7 if there's a separate best drum corps. The prize winners would be listed in alphabetical or playing order and is purely a list of the bands in that particular grade who will receive a prize later that day. I understand that sometimes space is at a premium at major competitions, but ideally there could be an announcement area in a location that wouldn't interfere with the ongoing competitions. 3. Prior to the prize-giving finale, all listed prize winners would meet at a predetermined time and location, and each grade would play on to the field as a mass band, which would be led by the prize list of drum majors. For example, there could be 4 mass bands, grades 1 and 2 combined, grades 3A and 3B combined, grades 4A and 4B combined, grades Juvenile, Juvenile A, and Juvenile B combined, or the grades could be mixed up. That wouldn't matter. The tune for each grade would also be advised beforehand. Likewise, the winning drum majors would have an allocated mass band to lead onto the field. All of these details could be listed on the competition entry form prepared months in advance, and also published on the RSPBA website. 4. All bands who are on the field are given strict instructions on their conduct, and also that no bands leave the field until after all results are concluded. 5. On completion of the prize giving, the mass bands would play Scotland the Brave and would then be dismissed on the field. Some bands may decide to leave before the prize giving, and a time window could be given. For example, if your bus isn't out of the park by, say, 5:30 p.m., then you'll be staying on to the end. there must surely be enough yellow jackets around to be able to administer this. This could be trialed at the first major in 2025, after which feedback would be invited from the bands, the public, and the sponsors. There would still be at least 54 bands on the field for the prize giving, comprising around 1,000 players and drum majors. Yours anonymously, a pipe band player.
Wow. JD, I think that gets the prize for possibly the longest weekly drone we've ever received. Yeah, there's a lot of information in there, weekly droner, whoever you may be. A lot of suggestions and ideas being thrown around there. I will be honest, in my opinion, I'm not sure a lot of them would fly with the piping world here. And I don't know if that would be a UK thing or... I just don't know. The idea of announcing, the 6 bands that'll be in the prize list, that would kind of lay waste to the March Past altogether. Because imagine if your band's name was not included in that 6, then would you hang around and do the grand finale afterwards and do the March Past and all that kind of stuff? The salute to the chieftain? No, of course you wouldn't. You would just pack up all your stuff and just head home. Why bother hanging around if you're not going to get a prize, would be the opinion. As for your other suggestions there, or at least discussion topics around, the use of alcohol in the arena, people lighting cigarettes and standing out of rank and everything. Yes, that does happen. It does become a little bit unruly. Once, the band's grade has been announced, it's just every man for themselves. Yeah, and to be fair, I can't blame the band's folk for doing that. I've been in that position myself. There's so much pent-up nervousness, and whenever that announcement finally does come, whether it's positive or negative, it's just such a huge relief. I think that's kind of one of the overwhelming feelings from all of it. Whether you lift a prize or not, it's just an overwhelming sense of relief, and that's it. It's, that's the end of the season for you right there. And it's like, right. And I can't blame him if anyone, that decides to break out a hip flask, or for the smokers out there, decide to light a cigarette or something. It's just that decompression after such a full day, in some case a full weekend of relentless work. And yeah, I don't know. So I can absolutely see where the band's folk are coming from. That it is such a moment that, making sure that you're standing to attention in rank and file and being completely disciplined might come low down on the priority list. Yeah. Now, this weekly drone is epic. There's a lot of ideas in there, all right? And they've all been chucked around. And my opinion is, to answer all of it, weekly droner, is I am not entirely sure that all of those would work. However, there is some possible little nuggets in there. Yeah. You talked about marching on in mass band formation with select tunes and stuff. That's an interesting one. And there's a bunch of others in there that we can certainly unpack. Now, the reason we're getting into this weekly drone at this point is because I want to draw your attention to a future episode that we're going to be producing later on in the month of November. Yes, we're going to be dedicating a full episode of the Big Rab Show podcast to this very topic. We've been talking about it now for months, ever since the World Championships this year and that epically long prize giving and March Past, all of that. It just simply took hours. Yeah, we are going to dedicate a full episode of the pod to unpack all of it. We're going to get some expert opinion on this, including your opinion as well. And that's why we're putting it on this week's episode, to kind of give you a heads up that this is happening down the road. Okay, so later on, the end of November, say, we're going to tackle this as a full topic of the week. So if you do have any strong opinions, suggestions, or any sort of comments about the March Past and how we do them here in the UK, specifically about the World Championships and how it can be improved, possibly done differently, how can we streamline the whole process and still give everybody their due? It's a very kind of interesting dilemma, this one, a very intricate puzzle as well. But we're going to try and unpack it here on the show. So email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. And please put in the title March Pasts. All right. Now, we've already received a wealth of listener mail on this that we have been keeping in reserve. And that weekly drone, we just hope was kind of whet the appetite a little. There's been a lot of ideas in there, and we would love to know your opinions on it as well. So you can send us in either a listener mail to bigrabshow@gmail.com, or you can do just as that weekly droner just did and go to our website, thebigrabshow.com. There's a big button right at the top of the page that says Weekly Drone. You can click on that and let us know your story, your opinions, of course, completely warts and all, and yeah, without any fear of recrimination. So, have you any ideas or thoughts, opinions on March pasts? Now's the time to send them in to us. All right. And as I've said, we will tackle this later on around the tail end of November before we get into the Christmas period. We want to get into all of the muddy waters of March pasts and how we can do them better. So there you go. Get your opinions into us. bigrabshow@gmail.com or through our weekly drone. I have to say a huge thank you to JD, who I'm sure that weekly drone took forever to record. That was an epic one right there. So thank you to the weekly droner who sent it in. And food for thought for everyone out there. There you go. That's a good one. Okay, let's get into this week's news and updates good and proper. But I think at this point I'm going to take myself a little short break. But we'll be right back, of course, with everything that's going on in the piping scene. Do you wish piping could be fun again? Bagpipers around the world continue to struggle with their instrument, despite hours of hard work trying to get better. Bagpiping should be fulfilling. Your hard work should pay off, showing improvement and the freedom to express yourself musically. Or why do it? The Dojo University believe every piper should be able to free themselves from musical frustration, proven over more than a decade of successful teaching and accessible anywhere with an internet connection. The Dojo is unlike any other bagpipe learning experience in the world. Let the Dojo channel your enthusiasm into a fun and fulfilling program that will empower you with the knowledge to fall in love with piping all over again. So go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab and take advantage of our 30-day free trial of Dojo Premium membership. Join the global community of students today and rediscover the fun of bagpiping. dojouniversity.com/Big Rab for a 30-day free trial. Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk. Okay, let's get into all of the news and updates, of which there are plenty as always. Now, you know rightly, we're going to start talking about the Glenfiddich. We will unpack all of that. Yeah, what a fantastic weekend of piping there in Blair Castle. We have a lot to chat about there. But before we even get near the Glenfiddich, there's a load more of other stories that we have to unpack here before we even get that far. So, I have to talk about, of course, the Scots Trad Music Awards. Ho-ho! Yep, the MG Alba Scots Trad Music Awards 2024 have announced their nominees. And let's say this, the bagpiping world is definitely well represented all across the trads this year. Now, I do know a good number of you contacted us here on the Big Rab Show to say that you were disappointed to see that we were not nominated for trad music in the media this year. Yeah, but I have to say, yeah, as I mentioned, there is a wealth of great bagpiping goodness across the trad, so a lot for you guys out there to lend your vote to. Yeah. Now, yes, we weren't nominated. I'm still in a state of shock that we were nominated for previous trad awards. I still can't believe that we were in the room in Dundee as the awards were being mentioned and our name was read out as being a nominee. It was just a very surreal moment that I still can't get my head around. So that I can't tell you how huge the trads are, okay? They're a massive deal, and to even be in the same space at that time, so that was incredible. So do I think Lightning will ever strike twice? No, I don't. But you never know what the future might hold. We may well get nominated in future. Who knows? But let's talk about this year's lot, shall we? There's quite a number in here, actually, that you can definitely lend your vote to. Now, I'm just going to drop in a few names in here, all right? I'm just going to sprinkle them in there. And these are the ones that's definitely grabbed my attention. But I would urge you to go along to the ScottishTradMusicAwards.com or even Hands Up for Trad. There's all sorts of links and everything there where you can go and place your vote now. The voting is currently open as I'm speaking right now, and it closes on the 10th of November for the Trads. And the awards ceremony itself this year is in Inverness. Yeah, it's going to be held on St. Andrew's Day on the 30th of November. So, yeah, you have plenty of time to get your votes in. So, get the thinking caps on. So, for bagpiping fans, of course, if you're listening to my voice right now, you're absolutely a piping fan. Have to give a mention to Ali Hutton and Laura Beth Salter, who've been nominated for Composer of the Year. Also, shout out to Ross Ainsley and Tim Eddy, who've been nominated for Live Act of the Year as well. Also, of course, she's featured on the show before, but Margaret Houlihan, of course, from the Piping Centre, yes, has been nominated for Music Tutor of the Year. Also, shout out to good mate of the show, Ross Miller, who's been nominated for, yes, the Dedication Jigs as Best Original Work of the Year. Now, that's all sorts of awesome, so good luck to Ross for that. Also, of course, well, for all of us here, we love a good pipe band. So, yeah, the nominees this year for Pipe Band of the Year include the Skye Youth Pipe Band, Dunoon Grammar School, George Watson's Pipe Band, and the Dornoch Pipe Band as well. There you are. So, I have to say, shout out to Michael Steele and to Ewan Henderson, of course, who have got a nomination there for their piping show on BBC Radio Scotland, and they've been nominated for trad music in the media. There you are. So, folks, there is tons of great trad music and piping all across this year's trads. I have to say, well done. Congratulations to all of our nominees. Yeah, and I cannot wait to see who's going to come out on top. So, yeah, head along now to ScottishTradMusicAwards.com or even Hands Up for Trads, and you can follow the links and everything to go and place your votes now for the MG Alba Scottish Trad Music Awards 2024. Yeah, we'll be following this with interest to see who picks up the titles, but congrats to all of our nominees. Well done. All right, let's move on. Okay, going to give a mention this week to Johnstone Pipe Band, who put out a bit of an announcement on their social media. We love a good announcement here in the Rab Show. So, yeah, they put it out saying that their Grade 3 band is back and growing. Yes, they're thrilled to share that their middle band has hit the ground running, with their repertoire taking shape and progress is being made, and that's very noticeable every week. So, apparently they're still actively recruiting. I guess I was going to say in recruitment mode, but they are currently recruiting for any pipers or drummers who are experienced and would like to join the Grade 3 ranks of the Johnstone Pipe Band. So, yeah, if you would like to, contact Johnstone Pipe Band on their socials. That's very exciting to hear news about their Grade 3 band and, all the work that's happening behind the scenes there. Good stuff. All right, so the whole crux behind their Grade 3 band is that they're hoping for players to fit in there, develop their skills, and possibly progress into the Grade 1 band of Johnstone. So, yeah, it could be a possible stepping stone for a lot of Grade 3 players. So, yeah, keep that in mind. That's a great opportunity there. So, yeah, shout out to Johnstone Pipe Band. If you do want to take up that opportunity, then go ahead, give them a shout. Okay, I know we haven't done dates for your diary for a while, but I just wanted to add a little date for your diary, in the near distant future, I guess. There's been a gig announced by the National Piping Centre by the BMUS Piping Degree course. Yes, they're holding a showcase concert, and it's going to be called Moonstar. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Yeah, this is all going to be held on December 4th at the National Piping Centre, and will feature some of the best pipers from the BMUS Piping Degree, and that'll be quite a special show, let's say. And I'm really curious to hear that title, Moonstar. Where did it come from? Yeah, very curious. But reading the actual show release here, the press release, it says, the performers will explore many different styles of music, showcasing the range of the bagpipe and its repertoire from Kilbeg to Kilmore, using harmonies and more. That rhymes. The aim is to inspire musicians and to find out more about the canon of work within piping and to discover something new in the music. Woo-hoo-hoo. With sets led by their fourth-year students, this will be a great night of performances with some of Scotland's best young pipers and drummers. Fantastic. So, there you are, Moonstar at the National Piping Centre, December 4th. For more information on tickets and everything, you can either contact the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, or you can go to the National Piping Centre website and grab your tickets there. There you go. Interesting stuff. All right, we mentioned Johnstone earlier and they're recruiting currently. I have to give a mention to Irvine. Yes, Irvine Memorial Pipe Band have put it out on their socials that they're currently looking for a drummer, specifically a drummer who has played in grade 3A or above, in order to help augment their existing experienced team, with the prospect of possibly leading the drum corps into 3A this incoming year. Yeah, we reported the story that Irvine Memorial have been upgraded to grade 3A, and now we're starting to see them making changes behind the scenes, potentially bringing in a brand new lead tipper. So, that's another opportunity for any grade 3A drummers out there that would like to tick up that challenge. Yeah, if you have experience of playing in grade 3A or above, just about read me script, then why not take up that opportunity? Give Irvine Memorial a bit of a shout there and drop them a line, say, here, I fancy doing that. Then on you go. Yeah, Irvine Memorial are keen to hear from you. There you go, good stuff. All right, now I know we mentioned St Andrew's Day there earlier, November 30th. There's something quite special that's happening right here in Northern Ireland in Belfast called Belfast Tartan Day. I believe this is the first one ever to be held here in Northern Ireland, where basically they're hoping to paint the entire town of Belfast in tartan. They're encouraging everyone to attend and, of course, dress in your favourite kilt or tartan fare. And also, I believe they're putting together a massed pipes and drums, and that's where we come in. Yeah, ourselves in the Big Rab Show are very keen to see as many pipers and drummers all across Northern Ireland help support this amazing event if possible. There is a list of tunes and stuff and mass band scores and that will be played as part of this giant event in Belfast. So, the hope is that Belfast will be absolutely filled with pipers, drummers and people wearing tartan of all shapes and colours. So, that'll all be held on the 30th of November. For more details, you can go to the Ulster Scots Agency on their socials, or even the Ulster Scots Community Network, where they have actually published a lot of the detail about the tune selection, stuff like that. I have to give a shout out to the Harris Kilt Company as well, obviously being based in Belfast. They're well placed to be supplying people with kilts and tartan for this upcoming Tartan Day. So if you're any way curious about any of those, then you can contact any of those sources that I've just mentioned. Yeah, that's very exciting though. The 30th of November, Belfast Tartan Day. It's the first of its kind, and I really do hope that it'll be well supported. Yeah, for sure. All right, very exciting stuff. Let's move on. Well, I'm not going to move too far from Irvine Memorial. They put out an announcement also on their socials that not only are they looking for a grade 3A drummer to fill the ranks, but also they're going to be hosting something quite special in the Valley Hotel in 5 Mile Town. This will be on the 7th of February, and this will be one for St Lawrence O'Toole fans. Why, you might ask? Well, they're hosting an audience with Terry Tully. Whoa, are you kidding me? Yeah, these are becoming all the more popular now. An audience with insert name here. And yeah, an audience with Terry Tully. I dare say there'll be some stories told, for sure. Now, not only that, will there be a Q&A with a live audience and stuff, and you'll hear stories from the legendary pipe major himself, but also you'll be treated to solo performances from their lead tipper, Stephen Crichton will be there, as well as Brendan Murphy, of course, as well, pipe sergeant of St Lawrence O'Toole. So, yeah, that's a lot to enjoy there for St Lawrence fans. So that's all coming up on the 7th of February in the Valley Hotel in 5 Mile Town, an audience with Terry Tully. That's fantastic. Yeah, so shout out to Irvine Memorial. If you are curious about getting tickets or access to the event, apparently the tickets will be available in early December. So we will keep you posted on that. If you do want to attend that event, I dare say that'll sell out very quickly. But get that date in your diary, though. 7th of February in 5 Mile Town in the Valley Hotel, an audience with Terry Tully. That's exciting. Also, just another date for your diary. We've mentioned it here on the show before, but I'm just going to give it another little plug because why not? On the 29th of November in the Woodlands Hotel in Dundee, there's going to be a recital. And who's appearing at that recital? None other than our Glenfiddich champion, Callum Beaumont. No! Yeah, Mackenzie Caledonian Pipe Band are hosting another one of their recital series in the Woodlands Hotel in Dundee, and this one is shaping up to be, very, very special. Tickets are available right now. You can go to Mackenzie Caledonian on their socials. They have the tickets available there, if they are still available at the point of me recording this. They have a link and everything there where you can go and buy them. And yeah, a recital by Callum Beaumont. That's going to be exciting. 29th of November, Woodlands Hotel in Dundee. Get that date in your diary also. That's going to be exciting stuff. Also, there'll be pipers there from the City of Discovery Pipe Band as well, who will be helping support on the night. So tons of great piping action there at that. So that's a very exciting event there for sure. Shout out to the Mac Cals. Good stuff. Also, there's more little concert appearances and things happening all across Northern Ireland this last while, and I'm kind of being inundated with dates and stuff. So apologies if the news and updates is basically a pile of dates, but yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now. I have to give a mention to Tullylagan Pipe Band, who are going to be playing at a concert on the 22nd of November. Yeah, as part of the Bessie Bell and Mary Gray Ulster Scots Festival in Newton Stewart. Yeah, for more information, of course, you can check us out on the Big Rab Show on the socials. We've shared it out everywhere where you can go and catch that concert by Tullylagan Pipe Band. That's going to be all sorts of special, isn't it? Yeah, you think it's the off-season and there's not much happening, but folks, honestly, there's been so many concert dates and that shared with us this last while. Yeah, it's brilliant to see. So it's great to see everyone still out and about and playing, even when the pipe should be in the pipe box, kicked under the bed for a few days. Yeah, but anyway, there you go. Shout out to Tullylagan, who are going to be in concert 22nd of November in Newton Stewart. That's all sorts of exciting there. I have to say that we are plugging all of these concerts and stuff. All right, another one that's just came up into my crosshairs here is the 3rd annual Sunbelt Invitational. That one's just around the corner as well, November 8th and November 9th. Yeah, so I don't know. There's just so many dates, but let's talk about the competitors at the Sunbelt Invitational Piping Competition. All right, we have Callum Beaumont, Glenn Brown, Alex Gandy, Bruce Gandy, Angus McCall, Willie McCallum, Ben McClamrock, Derek Midgley, Connor Sinclair, and Alan Tully. That's quite a lineup right there. For more information, you can go into your search engine and type in the Sunbelt Invitational Piping Competition. That's quite a stellar lineup. So all information for it is online where you can get tickets and everything. So I don't know. There's dates flying all over the place, folks, okay? And as I was about to say, we're plugging gigs aplenty all across. And if you have any that you would like to help, well, if you need promotion for it, you want us to mention it here in the show, then please do send it our road. More than happy to. I have to give a mention to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who are currently warming up for the European tour. Way too many dates for me to mention on the show this week. If you do want to catch the Red Hot Chilies over the course of the next few months, they are going on a European tour. So, yeah, just go to the Red Hot Chili Peppers website. All that information is up there now. Now, I know previously on the show we did talk about an invitational competition that WSPBA are hosting. Yes, that we spoke all about that at the time. That event is just shaping up to be one of the, premier events, dare I say it. But, very exciting. If you haven't heard anything about that, please do go back and have a listen to our pod, where we did talk all about that with the organisers themselves. A very exciting event for sure, which is all taking place this weekend. And yeah, I don't know. There's so much information to unpack here with competitors aplenty. Just too much to unpack. All right, so for full information, you can go along to the WSPBA on their socials and everything, where they've talked about all of the competitors. It'd make your head spin. It's crazy. Even the lineup for the judges is insane as well. So yeah, and if you are heading to that event, then please do let us know, because we do want to find out who wins what, where, and when, and also send us a selfie as well. So yeah, keep us across the details of that. If anyone is heading to that event, we definitely want to keep across how that develops. But that one is shaping up to be quite a huge competition. I'm very excited for it this weekend. Good stuff. So I have to give a shout out this week to a good friend of the show, Jeremy, from Lone Star Piper, of course, who's been, heavily involved in the Tartan and Taps event that took place this past week in Dallas, Texas. Now, there seemed to be literally hundreds of pipers and drummers involved in this, all of various firefighters and first responders, and it was just a fantastic event. Looking across all the photographs and videos and stuff from this TNT event, as they're calling it, it just looked to be incredibly popular. So for more information on all of that, go to lonestarpiper.com. There's photographs, videos, performance clips, all of it just looked to be really, really exciting. A lot of big name instructors involved in this event. So yeah, a lot to unpack there. So if you're anyway curious about the TNT event, we have spoke about it on the pod here before, but just to let you know that this last one took place there last week. And we just neglected to mention it, unfortunately. So that's on us, I guess. But shout out to Jeremy. that event seemed to be a roaring success, and well done to all the pipers and drummers involved, tutors, organisers, backroom team that made that all possible. That seemed to be absolutely brilliant. So shout out to all of you there in Dallas, Texas, and to Lone Star Piper, of course. That TNT event, we'll have to keep across that in future for sure. Yeah. All right, let's get into something a little bit more controversial, shall we? Yeah, this past week, we got a statement from the PBBSO. Yeah, the Pipe Band Society of Ontario. Yeah. So we mentioned this on the show before, that there had been a legal case filed against the association. And we had mentioned that it was a thing. You can read it on pipesdrums.com. The full legal case is presented there. You can actually download the legal documents and read it for yourself as to the reasons why and wherefore that this was filed in the first place. So we are continuing to follow this, all right? Suffice to say, there has not really been much in the way of any developments with this ongoing lawsuit, and we're reluctant to make any further comment on it at this point, other than to point you in the direction of all of the online sources. So, initially we did point you in the direction of pipesdrums.com, which had the detail behind that legal case that had been filed against the association. We hadn't really seen much in the way of any sort of comments back or comments from the association themselves to advise just what is going on. So, well, now we have a statement, and it's available on their website. You can go to pipebandsontario.org, it's up there now, and it does make for an interesting read, I have to say. I'm just going to read you the first sort of paragraph here, and then let you read the rest of it yourselves. So, as the leadership of the PBBSO, we want to address the ongoing situation that many of you are aware of. We understand that without access to the full scope of information, it's natural to have questions and concerns. However, we ask for your patience as we navigate this complex matter responsibly and with due care. All right, so they go on in the rest of their statement to say that they have hired a legal team and they will be taking care of this. And that we're just basically thanking people and all of that kind of stuff for their continued support, etc. So the closing paragraph says, in closing, we are thankful for your trust and understanding during this time. Your patience and belief in the board's ability to guide the PBBSO through these challenges are not only appreciated, but essential to the continued strength of our society. Sincerely, Andrew Gillis. Okay, right. Now, this is very murky waters. All right. Now, as we've said here in the Big Rab Show before, we've got a number of listener mail on this. All right. Talking about this entire thing, this ongoing legal battle between the PBBSO and pipesdrums.com. Mr. Andrew Bertoff, who had filed a legal case. It exists. That's all we're going to say. The legal case is there. You can read it yourself and draw your own conclusions. We now have a full statement from the PBBSO on the entire situation, and as all of this is a current, ongoing legal situation, ourselves here in the Big Rab Show will not be commenting at all until we have a proper outcome. Because as this event, or as all of this is currently ongoing, we're very reluctant to jump in and start talking about a situation that we know very little about, to be honest. So, yeah, you can continue to email us in if you do have thoughts on all of this, of course, and we will take all of those on board once we have an outcome, and we can talk all about it once that happens. But until such time as we do have a legal outcome from this process, then ourselves in the Rab Show, we will continue to stand back and watch everything happening and keep you updated if there is any updates. So that's just what we're doing this week. We're giving you an update that there has been an update. Yeah, there's a statement now from the PBBSO. You can go to their website and read it in full. I haven't read it in full, but you can. All right? It's out there. It exists. Let's move on. Okay, just before we get into everything Glenfiddich, and let's face it, that'll probably be the majority of our piping news this week. It's all anyone's talking about. I have to give a mention to the Kilchoman Distillery, Isle of Islay pipe band. They are recruiting right now. Okay, full band practices are held one weekend a month in Glasgow on a Saturday and a Sunday, and band members are expected to practice hard at home and have the ability to step in when the band practices together, as well as attend all practices. Ooh, there you go. So, hey, if you are interested in taking up the challenge with the Islay boys and girls, then why not? Why not lift the sticks, or the chanter for that matter, and thump out some big tunes with the Isle of Islay folks? So there you are. Opportunities are available, snare drummers, tenor drummers, and I think they wouldn't be angry if there were some pipers as well. So do contact them on their socials, and I'm sure they would love to hear from you. There you are. All right, you've waited long enough. Let's finally talk about the Glenfiddich. All right. Now, as we mentioned earlier, our overall champion, Callum Beaumont. Oh! Did any of you see the Glenfiddich? Well, I know a good number of you did. I tuned in as soon as the live stream went live in the morning, and I sat with it until the results in the evening. It was fantastic. I can't tell you just how magical some of the music that was played on the day. I don't know, man. I have only really been playing pipes competitively this season, and I can only really get an understanding of what it's like from a piper's perspective with a band. I would never even dream of doing what these guys are doing on a huge stage like that with the piping world watching you, and they are absolutely dissecting every single grace note that's being played, within a millimeter of accuracy. The absolute precision that these players play with and just make it look easy. I can't explain it. It is just magical. And I only wish that someday any of us listening right now could play like that, And I have to say, there was even some occasions, right? Now, there was comments about this online, that some of these players, they look as if the pipes are playing themselves, and that they're just along for the ride. They just happen to be attached to a bagpipe that is thumping out some big tunes. It's incredible to watch. Yeah, and I've said this before about the Glenfiddich. This is absolutely the pinnacle of solo bagpiping. To actually be on that stage in Blair Castle, you've had to already have had quite an amazing season. And this is the culmination of an entire season's worth of work in the solo circuit. So I have to say, full credit to all of the competitors who really did, well, they melted our face. All right, let's just say it as it is. Some of the tunes on display here, man, were just incredible. Now, I have to be honest, I did try to find another word other than incredible. I know I use it too much, but seriously, for anyone who did tune into the Glenfiddich this year, you were in for an absolute treat. Some of the tunes. One of the particular highlights to me, of course, was Stuart Little's Pembroke performance. I don't know. It's one of those ones I've went back, and each time I've listened to it now, I listen to it with my eyes closed. I don't want to get the visual. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, whenever I just shut my eyes, I can really focus on what's been played. Wow. Okay, I can really understand now some of the beauty behind Pembroke music, and I'm really getting an appreciation for it now. And after listening to all of it at the Glenfiddich this year, and I've now listened to it now a few times, 3 times, it's some of the tunes are just beautiful, especially, and oh man, what? Come on, stop it. I'm going to get into the tunes now, but let's go through the results, shall we? Without me waxing lyrical about how amazing it was. Looking at the MSR performances, first of all, in third place was Nick Hudson, in second place was Alistair Henderson, and in first then was Callum Beaumont. Then on to our Pembroke competition, yes, with Callum Beaumont, who was in third. Second was Finlay Johnson, and in first was my Pembroke pick, which was Stuart Little. Yeah, so the overall prizes for those of you that were, keeping scores at home, in first place was Callum Beaumont, second was Stuart Little, and in third was Nick Hudson. Yes, there you are. So I have to say, full credit to all of the organising team, by the way, to everyone who helps in the production of that event, to our MCs and that as well, and to everyone behind the scenes. Just a fantastic event. And also, I have to give a shout out to Ian Duncan as well, who was awarded with the Belvany Medal this year for services to piping. And this, I believe, was the 40th time the medal had been given out. That could be stuff that Rab got wrong. But of course, everyone knows who Ian Duncan is. He's been awarded the medal for his service in the Perthshire area, where he's taught and led the Vale of Atholl Pipe Band for many years, and has managed to nurture generations of bagpipers throughout his tenure. So, yeah, a very deserved recipient. And he did seem to be genuinely chuffed to be receiving the Belvany Medal. So, yeah, folks, for anyone who did manage to catch the live stream, you know what I'm talking about. All right, I'm not sure if you can actually go now and actually purchase the ticket and watch it retrospectively. if you can, then please do go now and grab it. But it's such a pleasure to watch. So well done to all of the organisers, the competitors, Ian Duncan specifically, but to everybody there, even on the live stream team. The quality was fantastic. Just such a stellar event. Now, I'm going to the website here, bagpipe.news, where they've done a full report on the event itself, and they've actually got a statement here from Callum Beaumont shortly after lifting the overall prize. And his statement reads like this: "Being getting married in the summer and taking this title, this has been the best year of my life. To come out overall winner has really topped off an amazing year personally and professionally." Wow. There you go. And there's not a dry eye in the house, Callum. Well done. From all of us here in the Big Rab Show team, I don't know. Such a fantastic event. Folks, if you did manage to miss this year's Glenfiddich Championship, fear not, because I'm sure the pipingcentre.co.uk/Glenfiddich, you can actually go back, hopefully, to grab tickets. And hopefully they'll be releasing little video clips as they do most years, and they release those kind of periodically throughout the year. Oh, here, did you catch this MSR by Chris Armstrong, for example? So you keep an eye on all of the National Piping Centre's outlets, and hopefully they'll be releasing those performances in due course. They do so over the course of the year. There's a lot of great music to enjoy there. So, to all of the 2024 competitors, organisers, all of it, Glenfiddich this year was a roaring success. Well done to everyone involved there. Such a pleasure to watch. All right, let's fly on. Okay, so just at the point of me recording this here tonight, we are starting to see some dates coming through now being announced for our major championships. Now, we have reported this before on the show here, that the World's Championships, they're obviously set in stone. Obviously, there are Scottish Championships in Dumbarton. They're also set in stone. But one that was announced just at the point of me pressing record tonight was an announcement about the European Championships. Yes, they're going to be scheduled to take place in Perth this year. Or next year. Yeah. What year is this? Yeah, they're going to be happening in Perth next year. Now, the talking point for a lot of people is when. Yes, this is going to be taking place on the 9th of August. Ooh, yeah. Now, this has made a lot of people now have to work out what they're doing calendar-wise. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because, well, obviously the Euros this year took place on a Sunday, and that didn't work too well for a lot of bands here in Northern Ireland, and a lot of them couldn't attend for multiple different reasons. There was a competition on the Saturday here in Northern Ireland, and then to possibly jump on a boat and compete the very next day at a major wasn't practical for a lot of those bands. Well, now we're seeing an announcement that a major is going to be happening on the 9th of August, which is the weekend before the big one. Yeah, so again, we potentially have two major championships, one after another. And that's no small thing. So potentially there could be bands travelling to Scotland to compete in Perth for the European Championships, and then basically just staying there until the Worlds happen the following weekend. So, yeah, it's got a lot of people talking here, especially in Northern Ireland, where we would see a competition happening here in Northern Ireland on the 9th of August. I think this past season in 2024, it was in Newcastle, which was a very popular venue, and did see quite a huge turnout this year. Yeah. So what will the RSPBA Northern Ireland branch do now when potentially we'll have two major championships, one after each other? And what will other branches do as well, for that matter? It's a difficult one, and I guess we'll have to wait and see how that unpacks. But now we're starting to see that's three major championships in the calendar already. So, they apparently, as well as part of this statement, they also added in a little nugget of information that they are continuing to work on securing venues for both the UK Championships and the British Championships, and they hope to be able to give us an update on both of these as soon as possible. So, they're in the works, folks. All right, we are starting to get some dates in our diary, and that's three majors so far. I guess we'll have to wait and see how the UKs and the British pan out. And we'll keep you across that once they get announced. So, that's our dates and locations. We have Perth, Dumbarton, and Glasgow so far. There you are. Alrighty, well, I think that's pretty much it for all the news and updates, folks. We can honestly wibble on about, well, there's another bit of news, I guess, where the RSPBA are reminding all bands to get your fees paid by the 30th of November. Isn't that cheery? So you go along to the RSPBA on their socials where they've put that reminder out to all member bands. Yeah, pay your fees by the 30th of November, or you can end up in all sorts of fines and whatnot. Anyway, that's a happy news story to end things on, isn't it? Of course it is. All right, well, you guessed it then. I think it's time for me to finally go and get myself a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week.
Wallace Bagpipes. Quality, pride and passion. Made in Scotland. Proud bagpipe supplier to the Red Hot Chili Pipers. Visit wallacebagpipes.com for more information or contact your nearest dealer.
Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band Supplies for all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Gilly Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs. So, as the topic of this week's podcast is announced already in the title, you're going to know what we're talking about. The Kids with Cancer Charity Night 2025. Gary, it seems like no time since the last one.
No, certainly these they certainly do come around very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, with it being in March, and then the first major obviously was a couple of months later. Season's just finished if you take into the word solos, and now we're back at this again.
You are, I tell you, you're a glutton for punishment, sir.
But to be honest, as we go along, you'll understand that even like through the season, this is actually taking shape. Although the lineup's not completely finished, but obviously we always leave it till after the results at the World Solos to see if any of our young players do well at that, and then we can more or less just finalize it maybe before Christmas or maybe start January type of thing. But
there you go.
So far we're about 80% sorted.
Good stuff. So can I ask then about last year's event? For those of you who's listened to the pod from that event, you heard how successful it was. And now it's been nominated for a Big Rab Show award. Everyone really seemed to love the event this year, Gary. How do you think it went yourself?
I thought it was they're all great nights, and obviously they're all great bands. And it was certainly, if you look at the ticket sales and how quick the place was sold out, that was the fastest selling ticket concert that we've had. Bog Hall were brilliant as a band, as obviously when you take the likes of St. Lawrence had been there before, Field Marshal, Shots, and Berry, they're all amazing bands. And it was Alice Lappin, who John's wife, who had sent me a letter, and a part of the letter was try and make this the most successful night ever. No, obviously a memory of John as well.
Yeah.
That did. We ended up with the most successful one we've had yet. We raised £15,037.
Wow. That's amazing. Like over 15 grand, Gary, for one night of piping. That's amazing.
There's one, I think the first or second year, there's one wee lady, and I haven't seen her now for a couple of years, but I said I usually try and give a ballpark figure after the auction at what we have raised. And she just turned around. She says, "That's a great amount of money for 2 or 3 hours work." And I, of course, just yes, it is. I'm thinking, if it was only 2 or 3 months, never mind 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, and it's the work that goes on behind the scenes, Gary, that goes unseen. You know,
there's no doubt about it. Like, there's a lot of it, obviously, all set up from the previous year. Contacting this one, contacting that, but then having to look for new artists. And just different things to try and do, which we try. Okay, the format's more or less the same every year, but but like just different artists to come in and a few wee different bits and pieces, which we'll have next year as well.
There we go. Yeah.
There's one I can't mention because it's a surprise, but everything else, once he kept sitting chatting away as I was actually chatting to someone last weekend at the War Solos,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking away, and just all of a sudden, like this person was talking, but I'll be honest, I wasn't listening because someone had just triggered in my head to, I said we could really do that there for the charity concert. So once I had this
right.
thought out of my head, I had to kind of revert back to him, and he was still talking.
And you were still processing the idea, yeah.
I had to pick up with the conversation and stuff I had been listening to him the whole time, but like in the middle of it, I had just thought about, we could do this for a charity concert.
Well, there you go.
So
yeah. So, Gary, I think everyone is dying to hear who's going to be appearing at this year's Kids with Cancer Night. So can you tell us who would be the headline pipe band that's appearing at this year's event?
The headline pipe band this year is the current UK champions, pipe band champions, St Lawrence O'Toole.
Oh, there you go. The mighty St Lawrence are back again. Oh, wow.
They were there and I think it was 2019. They did 20 minutes show, and Stephen was brought to drum corps on a couple of occasions. But this year they're back to do a fuller show, and obviously the current world champion drum corps for the 7th time, which is amazing, So again,
absolutely,
this is one which was basically finalised about a week after the UK. So
there you go. Yeah,
how long that this has been confirmed.
In the works for a while now, yeah. So, Gary, I think at this point we're maybe going to have to hear from Alan and Stephen to hear about their involvement in this. So I think we'll welcome them onto the pod at this point. So please welcome Stephen Crichton and Alan Tully. So we have to hear about St Lawrence O'Toole joining the show. This is all sorts of exciting, Alan. Obviously, the band have supported the event before, so now you're back.
Yeah, it's great to be asked actually to come back and do the event again by Gary. As we were talking about just off air, this concert has really become part of the kind of pre-season calendar, and I think it's something that most people, whether you can get to it or whether you can't get to it, there's always good YouTube clips or videos that's posted up afterwards, and it's good to see the fun that takes place on the night because it's a great show, it's a great event. It's something we're privileged to be asked to do again and to be able to support.
Oh, we're all sorts of excited now following this announcement. Yeah. So, Stephen, you've been to many's Kids with Cancer Night yourself. So, what's been your experience of previous events?
I think it's just a great night generally with meeting up with some of the other musicians and having the chats pre-season and hanging out with the guys backstage, and it's very well supported. And Gary runs a good show there, and it's definitely worth doing. We haven't been back there for a while because obviously other people had to get an invite, but we've done I think 2 or 3 shows, maybe 3 shows, but really enjoyed it, and it gave us a good target to aim for the start of the season with some of the, not so much the competition stuff, but some of the street stuff. It freshens it up and gets it nice and clean, I suppose, for the start of the season. It's great. I love it.
That's it. So I have to say, well, I'm glad you mentioned the social element because I think the band, the last time I seen them at the Kids with Cancer Night, had the best crack at the after party, which went on to the wee hours, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
I was very well behaved the last time. I actually came home. I came home afterwards. But I do recall a time going back a long time ago where myself and Andrew Carlisle and Stuart Little stayed up until maybe 5 in the morning in the bar, playing tunes, falling off the bar stools. So it's always a good night. It's always a good pre-season night. And as Stephen said, the social element of it is really brilliant. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So Alan, are we going to get any musical surprises this time around? So, we know you guys had a huge concert in Aberdeen there past that was voted for, nominated for a Big Rab Show award. Are we going to see any stuff from that?
We'll have a mix. The way the band is at the moment, Rab, I won't say we were pretty stagnant in the first 2 years after COVID, but I think we probably struggled more than most to get back to where we knew we were capable of. And last year, in the build up to the preseason, we decided to do the concert, and that was about just getting back to doing some of the stuff that we really enjoy outside of competing, which is just playing good music. So we're trying to keep that going this year. We've kept a small bit of the repertoire from the concert, keeping that ticking over. And we do have some new material, so we'll be getting new material ready for this show. Because it's always good for us, you never want to go out playing the same stuff all of the time. So yeah, we've got some old material, we've got some very old material. That could be going back to to maybe the early 90s that haven't been played since. So you could say we've gone old, we've gone retro, and we've also gone new.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I can't wait to see you on the stage for sure. So can I ask you then both, whoever wants to go first, and 2024, quite an awesome season for the band, to be fair. I thought you guys were really particularly strong this season. Of course, with the standout moment at the UK Championships. How do you think the year went this past season?
Well, I'll take it, and then I'll leave the glory end of it to Stephen. So we were delighted. We were delighted with the season, to be honest, Rab. We set a goal at the start of the year at the band AGM that we wanted to win a major, at least win a major, and to get back in contention at the Worlds. So we pretty much achieved that. The major championship win for us at the start of the season was the best thing that could have happened after the concert that we had. We really had focused, and the guys in the band across every section, all three sections of the core, worked so hard last year to get to where we wanted to be, and it was great for them to get the rewards so early in the season, and then it was very motivational for us to try and keep it going. So I think we did that. I think it's probably the most consistent we've been as a band across all sections, definitely since before COVID. There's no doubt about that. And I think at the Worlds, from an overall perspective, as a band, like we won the UK's. We also won the All Ireland Championships this year, and we were a point off getting back into the top three at the Worlds. So it's a damn sight closer than we have been the last few years. And I can tell you, from our perspective, and we had our AGM 2 weeks ago, and we had a good party afterwards, which we don't normally do. So we've been able to maintain the positive vibe in the band, and the camaraderie, and everybody's very focused this year to try and use the Kids for Cancer charity to our advantage, get the band ready early, and make sure that we're capable of taking on this season as strong or even stronger than we did at the start of last season. So, and obviously the season finished with us winning the World Championships from a drum corps perspective. So I'll leave Stephen to talk about that and the impact that's had in the core.
Yeah, well, Stephen.
Well, I'm not going to go over what Alan said, but we did struggle after COVID and lost a lot of players who we probably had hoped would stay on board and try to be fair to them, but mentally and just COVID had hit them really hard in a sense of financial situations and stuff like that, not being able to travel to band practice and travel to Scotland to do major. So we ended up with let's just say attracting some younger players, and they've all come from very lower grade bands, to be fair, grade 4 bands and grade 3 bands, and I knew the project was not really to focus on drumming prizes for now. It was more to focus on getting these guys prepped for the next couple of years and make the new core strong again to challenge for prizes. But I think the main goal here was to try and work on our presentation of what we do, which is, we're very our music tells a very strong story every time we go out there, and the young lads were inspired by the old core to be at that level. And it just, I suppose you could say it took 3 years, but in some bands it's taken a lifetime. So we've achieved our focus in the last 2 years was to try and get the band back into the top 3 and help our presentation of our music and the tidiness, and I suppose the judges, I suppose their interpretation of the core I have now to what it was, probably thinking in their heads that this is not really as strong a core as what Stephen used to have. But I can assure you, every player that's sitting around that table is every bit as good as any drummer I've ever had in that band hall, if not more. And they've travelled the length of the country. And the biggest, I suppose the biggest reward for them this year was lifting the sash at the Worlds. And it wasn't about winning. It was just staying in the hunt for that prize. And we focused on our presentation and focused on our music with our ensemble. And it's a big thing now in some of the bands is the ensemble. Everyone's an expert in ensemble.
It is, yeah.
But I think we should probably say, hats off to the young lads for reaching that goal of lifting the sash, because some people have played for years and never won that. And to be fair, we've probably dominated that world sash for the last 8 years. I think we've won it five times out of 8 years. So
there you go.
It's a huge return. And we never, our aim this year was to get the band back into the top 3 at the Worlds, and maybe pick up a major and win our local All-Ireland was the big thing. And we've achieved a lot of that and more. So I think we should, for the young lads to have come in this year, really, pat them on the back and say well done, because they're all an average age. If you take myself out of it, and probably Conor McNally, there's a very young age there of about 22, across the board.
Oh yeah, it's all very young. Absolutely. So. Yeah, I have to agree with you both. It's definitely been a stellar season for St. Lawrence. And I cannot wait to see it at the Kids with Cancer night. This is going to be so much fun. Old material, new material, and a few pints had as well. And raising some money for charity. So why not? Lads, thanks so much for chatting with us. I'm going to get back to Gary to hear the rest of it, but that's so exciting. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Rob.
Gary, this is all sorts of exciting. St. Lawrence O'Toole back again? I don't know. I'm so excited for this, man.
There's no doubt. We've all heard of it, throughout the season, and they have certainly. I think the concert they did last year or this year in Aberdeen, thought they were a good stead, because they were. I thought that the UK, they were amazing, and as the season went on, I think they got stronger and stronger, and they finished 4th at the Worlds, very very close. To be back to the top 3. And as I say, with Stephen and the drum corps once again lifting the big one in Glasgow, I think it's a good time to have them back, and I'm quite sure, knowing the two boys as we all do, they'll be raring to get going again. So.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to hear them. So, but, we've talked enough about St. Lawrence O'Toole for now. They're definitely a star attraction. But who else is going to be on the bill then, Gary? Walk us through.
Right, well, if we go back into the drumming, the snare drummers, we have the Juvenile Section 1 World Champion, Ashley Steele.
Brilliant. Yes, Ashley.
Yes. So she had a brilliant result there at the World Solos.
Absolutely.
And then we move up into the Juvenile Section 3 World Champion from Surla. We have Ethan Young.
There you go. Brilliant. Yeah.
Hear his record there from the World Solos, and that was no wonder he won it. He was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely stellar. Yeah.
Then we have the junior Juvenile Section 4 World Champion Jamie Coffey.
Jamie Coffey as well.
I think this is Jamie.
Did you get all the world champions, Gary?
Yeah. Again, believe it or not, I was getting the flight home, the usual delayed flight home from Glasgow on the Saturday night, and I think within about half an hour, 2 had confirmed straight away, and I didn't have a phone number for Ashley, so I spoke to Ashley's mum there just through the week, and it was confirmed just within about a minute of a conversation.
Oh, brilliant! There you go.
It shows you the status of the concert to a certain extent, that people want to come and play at it, and there's no such thing as, do you want this? Yeah, no problem. I would love to.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's brilliant to see. Yeah, so 3 or 4 amazing soloists.
All 3 of our world champion solos were from the solos there. And then we have the usual stalwart, Wally Glenholmes is back again.
Good stuff. I don't know of a Kids with Cancer night without Wally now at this point. I think he's done them all, has he?
The same one.
Yeah.
Wally's put on the wall. Wally's he's one of the few, to be honest. I think he's been at every single one. I think Wally had a brilliant result there, finishing third in Glasgow.
Absolutely.
So I'm quite sure he'll be back to do his usual exercises and just kind of making it look so easy down on that stage.
Yeah, that's scary how he does it, to be honest. Yeah.
The rest was just think, it's time to put the sticks down here.
Yeah.
So and then finishing off the snare drumming. Well, I'm saying finishing off. I haven't heard this one confirmed, but Kilda Cousins usually perform. As I said to you every year, it's harder. It's harder to work along with these four boys than it is to put the rest of the show together. Honestly, you laugh, when everybody
They divas. Yeah.
That's just a matter of actually, you'll say to him, "Are you performing at it?" Aye,
Yeah.
What are you going to play? And generally, 9 times out of 10, it ends up being Derek and myself trying to go through music and fire it together. And Callow was in England there for many years. Thankfully, he's home now. Jackson, he does his own wee bits and pieces down here, and then Dean has to put the score together, and then Ewan just filters in through. And honest to goodness, that's like there's actually one year we were out in the embroidery here, and we had Callum on a live Zoom or whatever these things is, and like he was in England and listening to what we were trying to do, and it was just an hour of mayhem for 5 minutes.
There you go, trying to put something together. Oh, God.
Really.
Yeah.
But to be fair to the boys, they usually fire together not too bad.
For sure, yeah. And it always gets a huge cheer on the night,
I think it's so. Jackson says it's him more than anybody else. So.
Oh, right, really? Oh, okay.
I don't think the rest of the boys just like, "Aye, right, fair enough, son."
Okay, yeah. There we go. So, have we got any pipers then to entertain Gary on the night?
There will be one or two as we go along. We'll touch on it here now. We're actually doing a tribute to Pipe Major Richard Parks on the night. Now there will be pipers, but we have absolutely no idea what we're doing. We have a couple of ideas, kind of being bandied about with different people. But we thought, obviously, as this being the first, well, not going to say a proper pipe band event, but the first pipe band event since Richard actually stepped down here in Northern Ireland, we thought we should take time out to mark what he has done for Field Marshal Montgomery Band.
Yeah.
So there will be pipe of some form, but that dear only knows what we're going to do.
That sounds good, though. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm looking forward to seeing how that unpacks now. Great.
Well, we obviously had to contact Richard to make sure that he was actually in the country. We didn't want to be organising something and then find out that he's heading away to New Zealand or something to judge.
Right, yeah.
So he knows that there's going to be something there, and he, obviously himself and Ruth will both be there. But so we'll probably guess he knows as much as we know. As at the moment, like even over the weekend there, we had a couple of wee bits and pieces of information come through we could possibly use. So that will take a wee bit of time because we just don't want to
work
do
in progress.
something. Yeah. We'll try and make something which is deserves for what he has done for the band.
Yeah. Oh, a fantastic idea. So we'll look forward to that then. So what else have we got in store for us, Gary?
Well, then we have a well-known drum major who is not drum majoring, Catherine McKeown.
Oh.
Instead of using the mace, we'll have a microphone and she's going to sing a few songs for us.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know, I was saying this to her at this year's event. I said, your singing videos on social media have been brilliant. So she's actually going to be doing it now, singing at the next event.
This was, she put something up, I'm not too sure, it's maybe June, July type of thing. And I was on and asked her, and yeah, no problem, no worries, that's great. So then we spoke loosely. It's just about like that on the Thursday night before the Worlds in Station Bar, and it was all sorted. So she's happy enough to do the bit. So again, it just shows us another wee bit which had been talked about throughout the season.
Mm.
So she's delighted to be asked to come and perform.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, very talented drum major, absolutely, but a very talented singer. For anyone who hasn't heard her sing, you're going to be in for a treat. Yeah, so good. Yeah. Have anything else, Gary, lined up? Or
Well, on the line of drum majors, we have our juvenile section world champion, drum major Louise Smyton, or Smitten, as she's been called a few times.
yeah.
Louise, obviously, again, after the World Championships, spoke to Adrian a couple of days later and sent them a message. And again, it was quick reply, yes, no problem. We're delighted to do it.
Brilliant, fantastic.
It's like everything else, obviously, the other some of our world champions have been invited, but unfortunately they can't make it. But it's like everything else, we've tried to, from day one in this year, we have tried to showcase the world champions that we have here in Northern Ireland, and obviously our friends down in the Republic, so
Yeah.
as well as bringing the bands from Scotland who are absolutely amazing, and some of the solo artists as well, you have your own on so many on your own doorstep. You got to try, and you can't. This is the thing. You can't bring every world champion or every band, drum corps, or what, because you just don't have time to.
No, that's it. It's only one night, Gary. Yeah.
You can only you only put so much into it, and it's already a 4.5, nearly almost a 5-hour show every year. And I do get it in the neck every year about it being too long. But we do run it. Derek does a brilliant job as in keeping the time. And it has been commented by a few people who have come in and done many hour shows about how well it's been organised and run time. So we do try to have it. And try and get out of there for as close to 11 o'clock as possible. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's our plan anyway. So
there you go. Yeah. So any others on the roster then, Gary?
The only other one that we have already confirmed is the 70s tribute band.
No. What?
Under David Caldwell and John Scullion.
Wow. Gary.
This was nailed at the All Ireland.
Just after their performance this year.
After they performed and chatted at one thing, or seen Davy Danner across, and I just said to him, "Look, would you mind? Would you be interested in bringing the band to the show?" So he says, "Yeah." Just we'll chat about details, later on, how long and all like that there. But
that's fantastic.
That was it. Another one nailed, through the season. So, so far, that's what we have.
That's huge, Gary. That is not a small event by any. I mean, even the price of admission to see that the 70s tribute band alone would be worth it. But you're also going to get St. Lawrence O'Toole and all of the rest. Wow, that's going to be massive.
This is kind of you don't want to be greedy. Like it's obviously £20. £20 nothing for say for 5 hours, like £4 an hour. Like my God, you'd be lucky if if this was the World's Week, you'd be paying 40, maybe odd £40 for a ticket to see all that there. And
yes,
as well, you would like to try and raise it to maybe 25, because obviously it costs spiral every year. But I just think to be perfectly honest, everybody, about maybe 80% of the clientele who's there every year, as the same people. Yeah. So you think to yourself, well, look, at the end of the day, they're there, they supported me every year, and it's £20. You get 25, and you could end up with a hall maybe 3/4 filled for the sake of an extra fiver.
Yeah, there you go. But I have to say, for those people who do buy their tickets at 20 quid a head, it does sound expensive, as you say, Gary, but honestly, for the entertainment value that you're going to get here,
obviously most people's they're all pipe band people, who just go out for a nice crack. They'll see a good bit of piping and drumming, drumming, singing, or whatever it's going to be, and put their hand in their pocket, which they have done over his last 7 years, and like we're actually sitting, at the moment with £75,037.
Wow, that's a lot of dough, Gary.
That's
Yeah,
so,
congratulations.
well, look, I put the show together, but like there would never be a second show if the public didn't turn up and
Yeah,
support it the way they have. So, like to say that we're now getting into our eighth show shows that what we'll try to do here by changing things and bringing different acts and all to it, but primarily the public coming to support it.
mm,
And the platforms like yourself, coming to help us promote it.
yeah,
That's certainly a one in show, which um
absolutely. Yeah.
is only I'll only go to 2026 because hopefully at that stage we have 100 grand.
Oh, see, so is that the target then? You're hoping to reach the 100K? Yeah.
I said that last year that once we get to 100 grand, I would knock this in the head. And
Yeah.
again, I know having spoken to different people even throughout the year, and it's kind of oh no, just keep it going. But
Yeah.
uh,
It's a very difficult ship to steer. I do understand, organizing a show of this size is bound to take a full year's worth of effort, Gary, before anyone hits the stage.
it does, the actual night itself runs very, very easily because there's so much work has gone on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And everybody now knows, obviously, Alexis is in the door, and this one selling tickets and this one doing this and this one doing that, you and
Yeah.
helping out with the music and things like that there. So everybody knows their own wee bits and pieces to do on the night.
Hmm.
For the rest of the year, there are 364 days and nights a year. I'm sitting putting it together, which at the end of the day, nobody's turning around saying, I have to do it. That's just something which I want to do and try and help the children and the families.
There you are,
Uh,
Gary. Yeah.
so it can't
Hmm.
complain about it. I just think so. Though if we get to 100 grand, like that's my course is. But you never know. We might, I actually did think one stage of just doing one wee smaller concert maybe the year after, just as a wee thank you to everybody.
There you
But
go.
I don't, I
Yeah.
don't, I don't know. We'll get this one in 25, and we'll get 26. And we might not have hit the 100 grand at that stage. We might have to run one more, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's see how we go. Yeah. But I have to say, for everyone listening now, that lineup honestly is absolutely stellar, and I have to say as well, like, I know this is not your standard pipe band concert where the funds would go to the band, for example. This is all going to such a worthy cause, the Children's Cancer Unit in the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast. And Gary, this money has a real impact on the charity, doesn't it?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. We had Sinead there earlier on this year. She came down and she was the first person from the cancer unit to come down and chat. We were hoping to have a lady the year before, but she was unwell just at the last moment. But anyone who was there, Sinead was fit to fill them in, and let them know what our money is being used for.
Mm.
And I do remember being up at the cancer unit headquarters, getting all the banners and all the wee bits and pieces, and they had these robots in the corner.
Hmm.
You know, I was looking at them while they're in getting bits and pieces sorted out, and it's kind of what's these? And then she's trying to explain. No, she explained that basically any of the children who were maybe at home, or who were in the unit getting their treatment,
Hmm.
they were still fit to do their schoolwork because the robot would be in the classroom.
Oh, wow. And would have a presence there. And do they have cameras on them and stuff, Gary?
And that was being
Oh,
sent. One was in the classroom, then that was being sent through to each child. So they were still, if they
oh,
were,
yeah.
still fit to do it at that stage, or maybe having a bad day, at least there was a memory on it, and they could catch up the next day. But
Right.
like those were, I think those were something like 4 grand each,
Ooh, yeah.
something like that. They're not, I'm
Mm,
not remember right now, but I do remember thinking, oh right, well we could have bought X amount of those.
yeah. No, for
So
sure. Yeah.
over that there, which you think to yourself, well, the kids they're not going to get go behind in their schoolwork, which is so important because hopefully then whenever they win their fight with this disease, and
Mm,
they're back to some kind of normal life.
Absolutely. So it can be invaluable, Gary. Yeah.
So things they got there, and then just obviously like it's a shelter, or was put up, at one stage for some of the families to actually stay a wee bit longer.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
just things which you would never think of, and then whenever you get chatting to like a Sinead and people in the unit, and then you go
Hmm.
up to the actual unit themselves, up to the hospital themselves, and um, it's hard. It's hard. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
strongest
Hmm.
now. I won't be the strongest person to look at that, and that's why I think this is
Hmm.
just trying to do my bit. And thankfully, the pipe band community, not only here in Northern Ireland and the Republic, but in the UK, and
Yeah.
like with suppliers, anybody at all, like they've all chipped in and all bought into this here. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's amazing.
It's definitely been well supported by the pipe band community, and I hope that this next concert, with that lineup, Gary, I dare say the tickets for this will fly out the door for sure. So, can you tell us then when or where can folks get their mitts on the tickets?
You get the tickets tomorrow if you want.
There you go.
It's just the usual tried and tested old school way I work with things. As you know, I'm not really technically minded, so I'll just be the usual. Send me a text, um, or messenger or something like that. There, no phone calls or voice messages because I might not pick it up for dear only knows how long our reception's so bad. So it's easier just send a text sent through or an email sent through or a messenger and how many tickets you need, and I'll send you all the details for PayPal or bank transfer.
There you
And
go. Yeah.
over the years we've missed, I think we've missed two people over the 6 years that we were in Kirkstown. Obviously, we had our online concert that yourself and Andrew Shilliday put
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Aye.
Um, so it has worked. It has
There you
worked, and
go.
all I can say is there was one or two now last year that, or earlier on this year, that couldn't get in because they didn't bother looking for tickets and they left it too late. And
There you go.
we only have a number. We only have a number that we can let in, and we do push it. We do push it to try and get
Oh, for
obviously.
sure.
But it just comes a time when you just can't. You just can't. And I know some people maybe in their comments after it, oh, I thought this was a sold out. This was sold out. No, or maybe there's recordings from yourself or Craig or Brian or something. There's
Yeah.
maybe a couple of spare seats. That's a couple of spare seats of people who's maybe gone to the toilet or whatever.
Standing
So
at the bar or yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
oh, you get the ones standing at the bar, yeah. Who actually, to be fair, they weren't actually too bad this year.
No,
Fast.
they're behaved this year, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Aye.
don't know if there's a limit on them or where their wives or girlfriends have put a limit on them or what. I don't know,
There you
but
go.
that didn't do too bad. It didn't have to do too much shouting.
No, no, for sure. Well, Gary, I have to say we're more than excited for this year's event. So remind us of the date, the place, and all that kind of stuff, and we'll wrap up our chat there at that point. Yeah.
Well, it's on Saturday the 22nd of March, and again it's at the Royal Hotel in Kirkstown.
There you
The
go.
door, as per normal, will open at 5, and the show starts at 6, and it'll be obviously 6 sharp.
Mm.
So, and then the performances there we have is 3 solo drummers: Ashley Steele, Ethan Young, Jamie Coffey, and
Hmm.
then obviously with Wally Glenn Holmes and possibly the Celtic Cousins.
There you go.
Uh, and then drum major, we have world champion Louise Smeaton and
Hmm.
also drum major Catherine McEwen giving us a few songs this year instead of being on the miss.
Yeah.
We have a tribute to Pipe Major Richard Parks, and we have the 70s tribute band will
Yes.
appear as well. And then the headline act are the current UK pipe band champions, including the world champion drum corps from St. Lawrence Hotel.
There you go. The mighty St. Lawrence. Gary, I cannot wait for this. You know, I look forward to this every year anyway, you know?
Oh, I know you do, yeah. And the work you do behind the scenes, promoting it, and even on the night, certainly doesn't go unnoticed. There was like yourself as
Ah,
you're the first protocol, whatever. We more or less have this here sorted. You'll just if
there you
you're
are.
in, we'll put this here out. So we'll tie it up
Indeed.
so that the poster which quite sure if Andrew Shilliday is listening, he'll already been contacted to, basically in my words is, can you fix this here up for me?
He's probably working on it right now, probably at the point of his podcast releasing. Yeah,
that's it, you know. So that's it. I can't do anything, you know, things like that there. But Andrew just 2-3 clicks of the button. Is that okay? And that's it, done, dusted.
There you go. Well, Gary, thanks so much for chatting with us on the show this week. This is such an exciting event. Everyone, please don't wait to get your tickets. As soon as they're released, go and grab them. That's the advice here. Yeah.
Don't be disappointed.
That's it. Gary, thanks so much, mate, and I'll catch up again. Cheers.
No problem. Thanks very much, Dad. Bye.
And there you are, folks. Quite a lineup for next year's Kids with Cancer Charity Night. I'm sure you'll agree. Yeah. So, huge thank you to Gary Smyth for joining us this week. And, of course, to Stephen Crichton and to Alan Tully, of course, from St. Lawrence O'Toole. Oh, this is going to be a special show. So, yes, if you're thinking about getting tickets, then think no longer. Go and grab them now with both hands. You've been warned. All right? You've been warned. So, yeah, see, every time this event rolls around, people just, oh, Rob, I didn't get a ticket for that. Right. You've been told now. Go and grab them, okay? Go and contact Gary Smyth direct, or even you can contact us here in the Big Rab Show, bigrabshow@gmail.com, and we'll do our best then, to get you tickets and get you through the door at Cookstown next year. There you go. Anyway, that's it for this week's topic of the week. Quite a huge announcement, that one, and I think you might know that there's a little announcement happening next week. Yeah, there's not long to get your votes in. As we've already mentioned at the start of the show, please do go now to thebigrabshow.com and place your vote if you haven't already for the Big Rab Show Awards. Yes, because next week we will be crowning our Big Rab Show Award winners. Yes, tomorrow is our special announcement podcast, so please make sure to tune in to find out who wins what for the Big Rab Show Awards. All right. So, folks, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thank you all for downloading this week and each and every week. And don't forget to tell your mates about our wee show, about what we're doing over here, talking about what we know and love to be the music of the Great Highland Bagpipe and its people. Sure, where else would you be other than listening to us? Aye. All right, folks, we are out the door, and we will see you all next week for quite a special episode of the Rab Show Pod. Oh, Big Rab Show Awards time next week. Boy, I can't wait. There you go. All right, we'll see you all in the next one. All the best. Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week, and a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show podcast. All the best.